I guess like what I like to say during like my art workshops is I was holding on to the pole in the subway and I was like, I have no idea like how I'm gonna go to work on Tuesday and then Wednesday and then Thursday and then Friday and then come back on Monday and then I have to do it again, you know, like, because that's how I eat. So like that's just, it's so, I was like, well, I literally, I can't really do it. I feel really defeated. With collage, I get to collage things of how maybe I wish things could exist. So I get to collage with different bodies and different veggies and fruits and fish, and like we get to work in some level of like unison, and that seems like a nicer way to live than where we are right now. I'm Azania Tripp. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a multimedia collagist. I didn't study art, so I studied social work. So that's kind of where my origin, like, I guess, kind of starts. I had graduated with my MSW from the University of Michigan in 2015. And so after I had graduated, I had the opportunity and I got a job in New York, so I ended up moving out there, and so I was working at an all-men's homeless shelter, and then eventually I worked at a youth center in Jacob Riis housing in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And so I was holding onto the pole and I'm like, okay, like I need something, you know, because when I'm working with people, there's never a beginning, middle, and end. It's like I needed something else. Something to like make me feel grounded. And so I remembered from college that I had done some exercises with collaging, and when I collaged I was like, ooh, like this, it felt good, like there was something like internal that like made me feel sparkly, and like, oh, this made more sense to me. And when I had also been doing my master's program, I was collaging then too, because I'm like, this is also really hard. And needing to decompress. So collaging is a tool for me to like have that decompression, because when I'm able to collage, there's a beginning, middle, and end. And as someone that has ADHD, I want to complete a task. And doing social work, I cannot complete a task because life doesn't work out that way. It's not organized and pretty. I've been trying to write applications and I guess doing my own navigation of trying to figure out like my own Black history. My dad's he's African American. He was born in Tennessee, but then it's one of the many families that migrated to the north because of Jim Crow. So he's 82 now. And then my mom, she's from Singapore. So she immigrated when she was in her early 30s. So, and a lot of their focus in their personal and professional life has been very tied to social justice. So I think they made it very present that like for my brother and I, that we were Black and Asian people, and that we, I think kind of pressing a lot of intercultural communication skills for us to navigate, and being a mixed race person that can kind of flow and be sometimes interpreted into different communities has been like I guess an interesting experience, but I haven't had any other experience besides that. So I think because of the social work, social justice work that my parents have done, that's why my art maybe looks the way that it does, or why I think the way that I think sometimes, largely because of having a really strong lens on like anti-racism. Because of my dad's narrative story, and because like I want to keep exploring what that means to me, and I think I want to understand what it means to other people. So that's also part of my project, is to like do interviews and to talk to other people. So I just want to, I guess, understand myself by understanding other people. Like I'm reading High on the Hog, and it's helping me like understand the logisticsness of what how the transatlantic slave trade was a very organized system, and how it was just very organized. So I think I'm learning that and really thinking about like the intentionalities of all these things and the impacts of it. I think when thinking about trauma and thinking about displacement, so I'm thinking about that and then how it impacts the body. And so it impacts the body like through our food and then how we're digesting food. So like I'd be like, I have IBS. I think I have IBS because of racism. Like I think that's a large part of it. So, but I also like, how do I learn to like change my food and like bring in the nutrition that like I need for myself and also be conscious of like other people's nutrition. So I'm planning on interviewing at least like 3 to 4 people. And so these 3 to 4 people self-identify as being a part of the Black African American community. So I'll be asking them questions about their relationship to food and like their family dishes, and then how it ties to, their community. So that's my hope, is to learn about like their food stories. And so I'm going to be interviewing one of the other artists in residency's grandma. So his grandma has been like collecting gourds and been growing like okra, which is like a really important food that's like traveled from West Africa to here. So I'm really excited to learn about like how she takes care of them and like, like she grows them for a reason, right? Because they travel all the way over here. So that's what I want to like hear, right? Is like, why, what resources are you using to like, I don't know, because I guess I haven't talked to her, so I don't quite exactly know. I mean, so I'm just asking her about her food and then hoping that from my readings I'll be able to connect it to the High on the Hog. So seeing how, like, what are the foods culturally made in Minnesota that it's, like, really tied to our state. And then also seeing how, from the readings, that, there's, like, little roots in, like, Virginia, there's a little roots in West Africa, because we're seeing like red rice or black-eyed peas and like other stuff like that, and like okra and gumbo. So trying to understand how we're eating our history and how it's really intentionally placed there. And then I'm working with one of my old boss's wife. Her dad owned one of the first like Black-owned farms up north. So I'm excited to talk to her. Her name's Peas. She's a teacher. And so I'll be learning about, and she's also like big in gardening and cooking. So I'll talk to her about that. And then I'll, in extension to working with her, I'll be working with her husband to build a table. So that's something that I'll also be doing. So I hope to like use wood like from the farm. So like this is farm that like was owned by Black people from generation to generation, and we use some of the wood like in corporation for the table. So that's also something that I'll be doing. From the interviews, I'll be creating like pieces like that. So I want to like center the interviewee, and then I'm cutting out different like fruits and vegetables that they may have talked about, and I'm gonna like kind of ordain them with these little sweet pieces. And then on the back of the on the canvas, I'm going to be dyeing some cloth with indigo. So then we have indigo there, and then I have some rice that's like drying. So I'm going to try to put rice around the around the border of the canvas, because like rice was again one of the raw materials that was harvested by people originally from West Africa, right? And then I will also be making like a larger piece that I'm still experimenting in my mind, but I think it'll be a fusion of the history and a little bit more Afrofuturism and like watercolor flowers and stuff like that. Something I think a little bit more of like my style and stuff like that. So a little bit more whimsy. So I think with my community engagement piece, I make earrings. So I'll be giving kind of like a presentation about my art, and then people will have an opportunity to make their own reflective art pieces that they can wear. So they'll be able to make like earrings or a pendant or a pin. And so I guess that's like what I hope to get out, is to really work on building my community workshop and to make it like a therapeutic session. That I don't want it to be about, hey, we're here to make art, I'm going to teach you how to collage. Most people feel like they know because they've done it in school, and so sometimes they already like know how to do that. So it's really I'm not teaching you a new skill. I'm just we were just working together to make a piece of art that you get to look at yourself in the mirror and you say, yeah, I made that, right? And I look amazing. And I had one moment in my life where I spent 3 hours in a workshop, and I got to meet a lot of people, and I got to be myself. I think wanting to learn and wanting to grow into the adult that I want to be, so being really intentional about, this is how I want Azania. When I think about Azania is aware of systemic racism. Azania is very aware of that. And Azania wants to do this to navigate these systems. So that's what she wants to do. So I guess when I think about like that adult self, I'm trying to make her. So that's what I think that is what, like, at the end, like at the root of everything, I think that's what inspires me. And I think just wanting to learn, wanting to understand, I think wanting people to have a better life.